So if you do need to watch it later, you'll get a copy of it, and just as an FYI that we are recording. Okay, so now you can go ahead, Amy.
Okay, great. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy Lear, and I am currently the president of the Milton Marlins. Just had a couple things that I wanted to say before Megan gets started on the presentation. First of all, I just want to say thank you very, very much to our coaches, to the club's board of directors, as well as the Return to Sport Committee, who have been working so hard over the summer to make sure that we can get our Marlins back in the pool. So again, thank you. Our annual general meeting, which normally would have taken place in June, was delayed given everything going on in the world. And we will be holding it on Saturday, September 26th at 10 a.m. We really encourage you to participate. It will be online. For those of you who are interested in getting involved in the board of directors, for example, as part of volunteering for the organization, there are 3 positions that are coming up. I'll be sending out detailed information about the AGM in the next few days, so just watch for that email. And then because our swim meet schedule is going to look pretty different this year, we did make significant changes to our volunteer commitment, which you would have read through as part of reviewing the handbook before registering. We will be sending out more information about volunteer opportunities over the next couple of weeks. Our focus for the next 2 weeks is really getting our swimmers back in the pool. And so please be patient with us, but we will get more information out to you. If you have any questions about the volunteer commitment, about the annual general meeting, please send me an email, president@miltonmarlins.ca, and I can answer those questions for you. Thanks, Megan.
Okay, thank you. Just trying to work out some technical things here with Richard via text. Okay, so he is going to, he'll watch for the questions and we'll answer them all at the end. So if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, we ask that you please put them into the chat box. And then at the end, we will go through and answer all those questions that are in the chat box. So anything that comes up throughout the meeting, put it into the chat box. That'll come directly to Richard and myself, and then we'll make sure we address them all at the end. If for some reason we are running out of time and we don't get to some of the questions, we will make sure that we answer them via email and get back to you on all of that. But otherwise, let's get going here. So let me start my slideshow. I guess real quick, actually, because I realize not everyone on this call, this is the younger crew. So I'm Megan, I'm the head coach. I'll be working mostly with the seniors and senior developments, but I also actually will be on deck as one of the novice coaches 3 of the days per week. Richard and Cheryl, if you just want to turn your videos on, if you can. I don't know where you are, but hopefully somewhere. So Coach Cheryl is our new coach. And maybe just say hello, because then you'll pop up in my screen, Cheryl.
Hi guys, I'm Cheryl.
So this is Cheryl. She's one of our new coaches this year. She'll be working with, she's in charge of the junior development crew. She'll be assisting with the juniors often. She's running all the dry land for juniors and junior development. She's doing our nutrition with the older kids, and she's also on deck with our novice kids 1 day per week. So everyone on this call will see lots of Cheryl, and then Richard is returning coach, so most of you all know who he is. He'll be working with the juniors, and then he's also on deck with the novices just once per week. So that is who we are. We will all be wearing our bright purple shirts at least through the first couple weeks to make sure that you know where you're supposed to go. So whenever you're dropping off your kid, just look for the big purple, like the purple shirts, and that's what we will be wearing. Okay, now we can get started. Okay, so bear with me as I technical difficulties. Here we go. Okay, so our agenda today, we're just going to go over our expectations, our best practices, We have a quick little tour of MSC, which I know is a familiar pool for you all, but just showing how it is that we are required to enter and get onto the pool deck and get off the pool deck. We'll go over some practice instructions and the equipment that we ask that all the swimmers have every day, and then a review of all the required forms that we do need before anyone is allowed to participate in a practice. And then at the end, we'll go over all of those questions that you have put in the chat box throughout the presentation. So our return to sport, the Milton Marlin swim team's return to sport or return to training was dictated to us by Swimming Canada, and we are, and it's overseen from Swim Ontario. So there are instances where our guidelines or our requests of what we ask our swimmers to do may be stricter than that of public health or the town, if you were to go for a lane swim or a public swim. So we do ask that in wherever we are stricter, you are obviously following our guidelines. Swim Ontario has overarching say of everything we're doing right now, just right down to the number of you at the pool at a time between the practices and everything. So we want to make sure we are following all that to for our return to the pool. So our most up-to-date version of our standard operating procedures document is posted on our website under news. It's also linked right here in the presentation, and you'll all get a copy of this later today when we're done here. Make sure you do go and read that document. Our Return to Sport committee has spent a lot of time over the summer, editing and reviewing it, and as different situations arise, making sure it covers everything that it needs to cover. So please go and review that. The most recent version of it was posted earlier this week, I think Monday or Tuesday. So go and review that with your swimmers so that you're fully aware of everything that it says. I'll touch on a few things in this presentation, but I'm not going to read the document for you guys word for word. So to attend practice, number one, your child must be well, right? They cannot have any symptom of, any kind of illness. If they do have, any kind of illness or sickness that's not a COVID-related symptom, they are still required to stay away from the pool. Please let us know that they're staying away from the pool, and that's why. And they cannot return to practice until they've been well for at least 24 hours. If they have any COVID-19 symptom, they obviously also have to stay away from the pool. We ask that you notify us right away. And then you have to either isolate, or they have to stay away and isolate for 14 days and be well for 24 hours at the end of that to return. Or they can be cleared by their physician or public health, which means a negative test result. And again, be symptom-free for a minimum of 24 hours. The big key here, and throughout the whole year, we're going to ask of you guys, and from our end too, is communication. So make sure that if your swimmer is not at the pool for any reason, we know why. Even if it's because your swimmer is at piano lessons or, went to grandma's house that day or whatever. We want to know why your swimmer is not there so that there's no question by us as to where people are at any time. Again, there's more details on all that within our document. So swimmers and coaches, everything that applies to the swimmers also applies to us as staff. Swimmers and coaches will be required to complete a self-assessment every day at home prior to attending their practice. We ask that you do that self-assessment at home so that if anyone is unwell, they're not coming to the building, they're not coming within any close contact of anyone else. By attending practice, you're confirming that you have self-assessed at home, or your parents have assessed the swimmers at home, and that they are well and able to attend practice. There's lots of different ways you can do those self-assessments. There's a little link here to an app for those that like things on their phone. I know schools have sent out, one-page documents kind of assessments. The town of Milton has a big poster up outside its door. So whatever you would like to use, just make sure you are doing that daily with your swimmer. A note here that's really important: parents are not allowed on the pool deck at this time. And the stands are on the pool deck, so that means that parents are not allowed in the stands at this time on the pool deck. That comes to us from Swim Ontario, that only registered swimmers and registered parents will be allowed on the pool deck at this time. Sorry, I'm just doing what Richard's telling me to minimize things. So parents, you're not allowed on the pool deck. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. The pool deck will also actually be used, as you'll see as we get through going here. The pool deck is actually, the stands are used for where the kids will store their bags and all their gear. So they're actually not open, available for people to be sitting in. So we're asking that athletes and staff follow their proper hand hygiene at all times, making sure that they're washing their hands with soap and water as often as they can, or using their hand sanitizer. We're asking that all swimmers bring a bottle of hand sanitizer in their bag at all times. They always have that with them. When they enter the building of the sports center, there is a sanitizing station. We'll ask that they all use it, but we want them to have their own little bottle because they should sanitize their hands before they take their mask off, which doesn't happen until they're on the pool deck when they're about to get in. And they should be sanitizing their hands right before they put their mask back on. So that is why we do ask that they have that bottle with them at all times. All athletes or anyone that's entering the sports center will be required to wear a face covering when entering and exiting. And the swimmers will be required to wear that face covering onto the pool deck, to their spot where they put their bag, while they're getting ready, while they're putting their caps and goggles on, and it's just the very last thing before they walk to their spot in the pool that is when they will take their mask off. We're asking that everyone maintain those 2 meters of distance at all times. That's outside the building, inside the building, as well as when they are in the pool swimming. So outside while they're waiting, outside while we're lining up, while we're doing any outdoor dry lands, we'll always make sure they have those 2 meters of distance while we walk through the building. And then in the pool, we do maintain that 2 meters of distance by the way that we set them up. So while there are allowed to be 4 swimmers in every lane, we will be starting swimmers from both ends of the pool. So there will be a swimmer on the wall in the shallow end. There'll be a swimmer's start point in the shallow end under the flags, so not on the wall. Then in the deep end, in that same lane, there'll be someone on the wall, and again, someone out 2 meters from them, treading water / hanging on the lane rope. So at no point in time are we allowed to have 2 swimmers on the wall in a lane. And we will again be giving out a lane assignments, so your swimmer will always start in the same spot. That helps us in the need of any contact tracing should we have to. And then also they'll always know where they go every day when they get to the pool. So we're asking that there's no congregating pre or post practice, right? Just drop off at the start of practice, make sure we're prompt on the pickup. We have lots of groups going practicing every night, and so we don't want that congregating after practice waiting for them to be picked up outside those main doors, because we'll have another 20 kids lining up ready to go in. So we do need you to be prompt on pickup and leave away from the building. Once the athletes enter the building, they will go to their designated spot. We'll go over that. We have a little video to show you. There'll be markings on the pool deck where the swimmers will leave their belongings to ensure social distancing. So again, when they get onto the pool deck, they need to bring everything with them on the pool deck. All of the lockers are zip tied shut. They will not be able to leave anything into the change rooms. So anything they bring into the building goes with them onto the pool deck, and they'll put their bag and all their stuff on the X on the bleachers, their designated X. So we're really asking that they bring a minimal number of items to the pool. Just what you need for that day. Because we're also asking that you wash and wipe down everything that you bring into the pool every day. Therefore, the less you bring, the less you have to clean. This is the younger group, so I don't know if any of our swimmers in these groups would store their mesh bags at the pool. But if you did, we will no longer be allowing you to do that. So again, anything you bring in, you have to bring out. We're asking everyone to keep practicing that responsible social distancing, even when you are away from the pool. And all athletes from the previous practice are required to exit the facility before the athletes for the following practice may enter. And that is why we have a 15-minute window. And this is again mandated by Swim Ontario for all swim clubs, that we have to have a 15-minute window in between all of our groups where no one is in the pool. And that ensures that everyone exits from one group before the next group enters. All right, this is really, really important. Come prepared and hurry out. So the change room is where, is the smallest space that our swimmers have to be in. And so we're trying to minimize the amount of time that they spend in that small contained space. So we're asking, come to the pool clean. The public health has said that pools do not need to require people to shower before entry anymore at this point in time. So come to the pool clean. And then we're asking that they don't shower at the pool, shower when you get home. Only half the showers are open anyways, which I think it's like 1 or 2 showers will be available. So shower at home. As much as possible, make sure that the swimmers are going to the washroom, using the washroom at home before they get to the pool. Washrooms will be available, obviously, in the change rooms, but just again, trying to minimize traffic. So if you are coming straight from home or even straight from school, if you can go to the washroom before you leave school, that would be really helpful. Again, as much as possible, this one's really, really important. Please arrive and depart the sports center in their swimsuit. I know some of you are coming from school, so there will be exceptions to this, but as much as possible, we want the swimmers to arrive already in their swimsuit, ready to go. And then after practice, just make sure they have like a pair of sweats and, you know, a bathrobe. They're putting that on and they're walking out to your car. As much as possible, arriving and departing in their swimsuits. They're gonna all swimmers will be exiting the pool through that family change room. So they're all exiting through one family change room that only has a minimal amount of change stalls. Therefore, we want to reserve those change stalls really for those people that have to use them. For those later evening practices, we ask that they're just going home, go home, shower, and that kind of thing at home. Athletes must bring their own water bottle and preferably already filled to the pool, and any other equipment required by the coach, and we'll go over the equipment in a second here. And they're not allowed to share anything. So do make sure that they have that extra cap in their bag. They have an extra pair of goggles. Make sure they know how to put on their own cap and goggles. As coaches, we're not allowed to be assisting them. Or they can come already in their cap and goggles, right? Hop out of the car, cap, goggles, swimsuit on, ready to go. But we will not be able to assist. So that might be this weekend's project of practicing putting on our caps and goggles at home. So our athletes will be meeting, no matter whether they have a dryland practice or a swim practice, they will always be meeting outside of the sports center, again, looking for the coaches wearing the purple shirts. We're asking that you don't drop them off or that you don't arrive more than 10 minutes before their scheduled start time, again, just to minimize the amount of bodies kind of congregating outside of those main doors, because that is both the entry and exit door for swimmers like arriving and leaving practice. So meet outside the sports center no more than 10 minutes before their practice. If you arrive early, just wait in your car, or if your kid bikes there or whatever, have them wait away from the door. And once you see one of us coaches standing outside ready for the next group, then your kid can hop out of the car and come over to us and we'll start getting organized. But until you see one of the coaches in a purple shirt, we ask that you just keep your child in your car, wait until it's time. Outdoor dryland, again, they'll still meet. So the junior development groups, actually, and novice, everyone has outdoor dryland. So the novice dryland that they do prior to going into the pool, that'll take place just right in that green grass area right next to the doors, not far away from the sports center at all, because it is quite short. We'll do a little activation warm up and then, you know, screen them, line them up and get ready to go in. For the junior development and junior dryland, that's a bit longer sessions. They'll always meet outside those doors and then they'll walk to the field that they're going to use. We're going to always take them to the same field, the same area, so that those swimmers that are arriving late know where they can go if we're not standing up front of the doors. Because we do have limited practice time, pool time, and all that, we are going to make sure we're starting on time. So we will not be waiting for late swimmers, right? So that is why it's important that we'll always do the dryland in the same spot for those athletes that are arriving a little bit late. They know where to find us. Athletes must leave the facility as soon as possible after the end of practice. So again, parents, please be prompt for pickup. Parents should be waiting in their cars at pickup, and the athletes cannot linger in the halls, and we ask them to move away from those outdoor entrances as that next squad will be lining up to enter. So again, minimizing traffic. And they are encouraged to clean all their equipment, their clothes, their masks, their water bottles, and all that every day at home when they get home from practice. So if your swimmer will be late, I know some of our practice times are very tight compared to school dismissal times. So for those swimmers that will be late, again, we will enter the building to start practice on time at all times, because we do have, we want to make the most of the pool time that we have available. So if they arrive late and it's one of the outdoor dryland sessions, so junior development, they can just proceed right to that field. And again, they'll see Cheryl and Richard in their purple shirts out there with them. If they are a novice and they're late, the dryland is taking place right outside the door, so they'll see us. If they're late and we're already on deck and the practice has started, we just ask that they have to answer those screening questions that are posted on the big posters outside of Sports Center about being able to enter the building. And then they go through the hallway, through the change room and onto the pool deck, where we'll direct them where to go. And they'll have their designated spot that they always put their bag in anyways, and their designated lane that they always swim in. So they'll just head on deck and they'll know where to put their bag, hop in the pool, and join in. So that is okay. If you know your swimmer will always be late for a certain day, just if you can give the coach a heads up, that helps us. We know we just know that we're not waiting for that one kid. But again, we will be going in to be able to start practice on time, just knowing that we have limited time to use. Okay, I'm gonna play a short little video. Hopefully the sound will work this time. It did not for the first group. All right, so just something that came up in one of the questions before the video is, should the swimmers in junior, well, in all groups, because they have dry land ahead of their practice, should they come in their swimsuit already? Yes, we're asking that they're wearing their swimsuit and then that they're wearing their, shorts or sweats and their t-shirt over top of that for their dry land workout prior to the pool swimming. Also, just a note on that video tour. So we enter and we will walk through the male and female change room, but we are told by the town, you're treating all of the change rooms in the sports center as a universal change room because we are entering through male and female and we are exiting through the family. That means when the town lessons start up and we have families entering the facility for their lessons, they will be using the male or female change room even though they may be a family, right? So at any point in time, there could be either gender in either change room. So if your child is changing, if they do require to change before or after practice, which again, we're really asking that ideally they don't, make sure they know that they have to go into one of the change stalls or the bathroom stall. They'll treat the change rooms as a universal change room at all times. So we will enter the building together, we'll walk down the hall, we'll lead them through those change rooms. We walk onto the pool deck, around the deep end by the blocks, and to those first two sets of bleachers will all be marked with X's for us to put our bags on. And the kids will go to their designated X. They'll get all ready, caps and goggles. That mask is the last thing that comes off, the very last thing. And then after they take off their mask, they'll be told when they can walk over to their designated spot in the pool. So swimmers will be assigned to a specific lane and start point. So your swimmer will be told, like, lane 1, shallow end on the wall, or lane 1, shallow end under the flags, etc. down the whole way. So they'll be assigned that spot, and that will always be their start point for practice. Now And that just helps, again, with our tracing should we need to. And it also helps just everyone know where they're going at all times. So we are not allowed to use the whiteboards anymore. And this is so that we're not congregating and having a bunch of swimmers around one of the whiteboards. The exception will be when our deaf swimmers are at, when it's one of their practices, the whiteboard will be at the end of that lane for them. So there will be no more whiteboards. Novice and junior development swimmers, you'll be given your workouts verbally at the pool. The coach will tell you what to do. Because this is a little different and because we know that swimmers are starting from both ends of the pool, they're never all congregating together and getting that instruction. We do have a lot more coaches around on deck than usual that you'll see. So there will be coaches at every end of the pool at all the lanes. For novice, every other lane will have a coach. And so they'll all have the workout and they'll make sure the kids know what's going on, what's happening. So that's how it will work for our younger groups. Our junior group athletes, or slightly older little guys, they will be given their emails or their workouts via email. So Richard will send out an email to the families with the junior workout, and they're to bring that, either print it out or write it out in a little notebook and bring that in a Ziploc bag and bring that to every practice, and that will be their workout at the end of the pool. If you'd like your swimmer to get the email directly to their own little email address, you can add their email into your account. Just know that they'll then get every email that the Marlins sends out if it's connected to your account. Any instructions and feedback we give to the athletes will be provided respecting that 2 meters of physical distance at all times, and the coaching staff will be wearing masks at all times. So required equipment. Our junior development and junior swimmers, we are asking that they have their kickboard fins, pull buoy, finger paddles, skipping rope, a yoga mat or an extra towel for their outdoor dryland, TheraBand, and water bottles. So those bottom couple items, we're asking that they have a skipping rope for all their dryland, right? That'll be a part of their workout, have that in their swim bag. A yoga mat or just an extra towel that, it might roll up easier into your swim bag. And that's just to make sure, one, that when we're doing our dryland, they have their designated spot, right? They'll put down their towels and that's the spot that they must stay on for their workout when we're outside. As well, then it just is something between them and the grass. So, and then the TheraBand, so anyone that has a band, one of those looping bands or long bands, well, it can't be a looping band actually, it has to be a long band. If you have your own TheraBand, bring it to your first practice, and Coach Cheryl or Coach Richard will let you know if that won't work or not. But also we have a whole bunch of TheraBands ready to go, and so we will give those out to the kids at the first practice if they don't have their own, and then that will be charged onto your account. I believe we charge their $4 or $5. So if you have your own, bring it. If you don't, that's totally fine, and we will provide one for $5, which will just go in your account. Don't send your child with money. We're not exchanging. And then a water bottle. So make sure that junior and junior development have all those items anytime they're in the pool and dryland. For their dryland only workout, obviously they just need that skipping rope, mat, and TheraBand, and water bottle. Our novice swimmers, we're asking that they have kickboard fins, pull buoy, and a water bottle. For the novice swimmers, their outdoor activation, so their outdoor warm-up outside is fairly short, but we do ask that they have a towel for us to help separate and maintain those 2 meters of distance. When it comes to the masks, for the junior development, they'll wear their mask as they walk to the field. They'll wear their mask while they set up their 2 meters apart, and then Cheryl and Richard will let them know when they're safe to take off that mask because they're in their designated spot on their towel. Same thing with novice. However, the warm-up that we do with the novice outside the pool is very short and it's not strenuous. It's just, light warm-up. So as a parent and child, if you prefer they wear their mask during that little 10-minute warm-up outdoors, that's fine too for the novice. Okay, forms. This is the big one. These forms all need to be completed for them to be able to practice. And if they haven't completed it, we cannot let them into the building and into the pool. So these are all done online through the Swimming Canada registration system. You would have gotten an email from our administrator, Katarina. She sent out her 3rd round of reminders to people yesterday. So do go check your email. If you have another reminder yesterday from Katarina, it means something is still missing, right? So these first 3 forms, those are online in the Swimming Canada system. It's an online form that you click through and submit. Also really important within that Swimming Canada registration system, you need to update and confirm your contact information, right? And click submit the form at the bottom I believe is what it looks like. But make sure you go in and do all those steps. If you have any questions about that, please email Katerina, and her email is admin@miltonmarlins.ca. But swimmers must have all that completed for us to allow them to swim. So that's really, really important. If for any reason, like I said earlier, your swimmer will be missing a practice, we do ask that they email their coach. My email there is at the top. So Richard is the lead coach for juniors. Cheryl is the lead coach for junior development. I'm the lead coach for novice, and days that I'm not coaching novice, which is Tuesday and Thursday, I will let Richard and Cheryl know why your child is not there. So again, if you're a novice and you're going to be away for any reason, email head coach. Junior, email Richard. Junior development, email Cheryl. Or just email all of us, that's fine too. We'll make sure it gets to the right person. If they're missing for illness, make sure you're reporting that to us as well. But again, we do want to know, even if they're missing for piano or for an event or whatever it may be, if they will always be missing a certain practice, again, for whatever reason, just give us a heads up so then again, we are aware. Now, some last reminders. These are just random things I couldn't fit onto a different slide. So I sent out earlier this week that MMST school survey where we're asking what schools your kids go to, if you're in a carpool at all. Please complete that by today if you can. We're going to make up our lane assignments. If we know there's a carpool within a squad, as much as possible, we'll try to keep those kids closer together within the lanes as much as we can, again, because there are kids that are in the same school but in multiple different groups. So if you haven't completed that survey that was sent out, please do that today if possible, because tomorrow we will email out to everyone all of their lane assignments. So where they will start their practice every single day. In regards to these outdoor dry lands, we will run them rain or shine. So make sure our kids are dressed appropriately for those. Thunderstorm or tornado would be probably the only exception is what we're planning for right now. So rain or shine, assume we are running the outdoor dry lands, please dress appropriately. If for any reason we are not running one, we will let you know, but just assume we are always running it. For those that need to complete their registration, like drop off their checks, we have a locked drop box, little mailbox outside of our office door in the sports center. As of Monday, the public will be allowed into the building, or potentially over this weekend, I'm not sure, but by Monday they will be. So please bring those checks and drop those off at your child's first practice. In your account within our website, if you didn't double check while you're going and filling out your registration, please go in, log in, and just make sure all of that contact information, cell phone of mom and dad, or your emergency contact, make sure all of that is up to date and accurate. That is what we will be using should we need to get a hold of anyone during practice. So it's really important that that is up to date. And then just some random notes. So I think also last week or the week before, All Tides, which is a swim equipment swimsuit store, they are actually running a club fundraiser for all clubs in the country. So if you purchase off of their Speedo specific page of their website, which again I sent out the link for, any purchase you make from that page gives back 20% to the Milton Marlins Swim Club. And they're selling, there's fins, kickboards, pull boys, swimsuits, t-shirts, sweatshirts, all sorts of stuff. So anything you buy there, gives back to the club. And they also have a bunch of stuff on sale right now. So if you do need to buy any of your equipment, please feel free to go through that website. Make sure you're following us on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just to stay up to date on everything throughout the year. And then also the Terry Fox Run. So the Terry Fox Run, the team has participated in the past few years, and this year obviously it is virtual, but we do have a team set up. So please feel free to join our team and raise some funds. And we will be, virtually running on the 20th. So make sure you're sending us your pictures and videos of wherever your family is doing their Terry Fox Run, and we'll make sure we share that. Oh, I somehow got lines all over my screen. Sorry about that. And we'll make sure we share that out on the 20th. So that is it for the formal presentation. Now we will be taking questions. So I'm just going to look through the chat box. If you have any questions, please put it into the chat box now, and I'm going to just start to go through and answer them. So type them in as you go. So Yes, okay, so I have someone asking if anyone in the household exhibits any symptoms. They are asking, should that be communicated to the team and the swimmer would have to isolate? Yes. So anyone in your household, if they have COVID-19 symptoms, that applies then to your swimmer. They cannot come to the pool until 14 days, or they've been cleared by public health, which would be a negative test, as long as they don't have symptoms also. So yes, it applies to the whole household. Regarding schedules, I know, yep, the schedules and school end times, I know it's very tight. It's challenging for all groups. We have with end of school time and first start of practice, we lost about 13 hours of usual pool time that we would be given from the town. So we are trying to make the most of the pool time that we have, and I know some of those schedules are tight for families to get to the pool. Just get there as early as you can. If you know your child is always going to be late on a certain day for a certain practice, just notify the coach so that they're aware of watching out for that. How will I know who the coach will be? Perfect. Okay, so their coach, if you are in junior, your coach is Richard. And Cheryl will be helping running the dry land for the juniors. If you are in junior development, your coach is Cheryl, and she is also running the dry land for the junior developments. If you are in novice, on Tuesday, Cheryl is your coach. On Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, I am your coach. And on Thursday, Richard is your coach. Our novice groups also have a lot of assistant coaches, and they are also all going to be in their bright purple shirts. So anyone in a bright purple shirt is a coach, and we can help answer and direct where your child should go. Okay, a question about if they don't want their child in the change room. They'll just walk straight through the change room, but we do have to enter through the change room. That's the only way the town is letting us access the pool deck. So unfortunately, they do just have to walk right through. The door entering the change room and exiting the change room are both propped open, so there'll be no touch point, and they just walk straight on through. And that's for both coming and going, but that's the only entry onto the pool deck. Oh, what are finger paddles? Yes, I can explain that. I don't know if I can find a picture. Richard, can you find me a picture and like share it on your screen potentially of finger paddles? They're little paddle, a little flat surface, and they just cover just your fingers. If you go into a Team Aquatics or store and ask for finger paddles, they will know what you're talking about. If you go on Team Aquatics or the All Tides website and look under paddles, it will say finger paddles. And maybe in my email that I send out with all this information, I'll include a picture of that. That's what I'll do. I'll include a picture of finger paddles for those that don't know. Or Cheryl, do you have a finger paddle with you potentially at home? You could hold up. Maybe somebody? We'll see if they do. What are the swimmers to wear if they're going right from dry land to swimming? So we're asking that they're wearing their swimsuit under their clothes. So if they're if it's a nice day, then their swimsuit's under their short and t-shirt. If it's a little bit chillier, then their swimsuit is under their, sweatpants and sweatshirt. But we are asking that their suit is under the clothes that they're wearing for their dry land. Outdoor footwear now, the town has not been regulating or stopping us from wearing outdoor footwear onto the pool deck in these COVID times. They're letting us walk through and straight to the stands, and that's where we get ready and then clothes off and caps and goggles on. Should that change, I will notify you all. Obviously in the winter, that will become an issue, and so we'll deal with that. Okay, so Cheryl is now holding up the finger paddles. These are what they look like. They come in different colors, so don't worry if you get a different color. Finger paddles are all one size, but those are the Arena finger paddles. Other brands look similar. Thank you, Cheryl.
No problem.
When is Onyx starting? There is no Onyx for our junior and down groups this year. Cheryl is running all our dryland this year. I have a question about schedules. This is the schedule until I know when the leisure pool will open, or until I know more. Everything that we know regarding the pools, I, from a planning point of view, wish I knew more also. So as soon as we know anything, we will let you know. I have a question about volunteer point requirement checks. So yes, those do need to be dropped off at the office as well. And like Amy, I believe, said, we will be making sure to address things like volunteer point requirements, committees, that fundraising, various things that we will be doing throughout the year with the club, officials, development, and that kind of thing. But that will come at a later date. Right now, we're just worried about trying to get 130 kids back into the pool safely. And then next step will be doing some of those more regular fall housekeeping items within the club. Yeah, everything comes on the pool deck, coats and everything. They can't leave anything in the change room because they're, again, entering through one change room and exiting out another change room. So everything they bring in with them has to go to their designated little spot X in the bleachers. And so again, minimal items as much as possible. Do they need all the equipment for this week? I know that our new swimmers might not have everything. So just as soon as you can get the items, please make sure you have that with you. But I know if you order it online, we don't know exactly when it'll get here. So coaches will have modifications for those kids that don't have all of the equipment yet this week. We aren't allowed to borrow anything from the pool though, so we aren't able to use the pool's kickboards or pull buoys or that. But we will, make do and let the swimmers know what they can use or do instead if we are using pieces of equipment. So just get the equipment as quick as you can, but we know that not everyone will have everything, especially on day one. So for the swimmer lane grouping, is it restricted to 4 per lane? Yes. Swim Ontario mandates that. Swim Ontario mandates at a maximum of 4 per lane. So we absolutely cannot go beyond that. And also with those 4 per lane, again, like I said, there will be 1 on the wall at the shallow end, 1 under the flags at the shallow end, 1 under the flags in the deep end, and 1 at the wall in the deep end. So there'll actually not be 4 people near each other. They'll be at least 2 meters apart at all times, and that will be their start point. Your swimmer's start point might be under the flags. That's where they start and end, each of their 50s that they're doing or whatnot. The intent, and then the follow-up question is the intention to group virtual school learners together as much as possible. Yes, that's why I'm asking for you to fill out that school survey so I can see who's doing remote learning. As much as possible, we will group the remote learners together, but the reality is that some groups only have 1 remote learner. So we will do our best, but we can't make any guarantees that we have 4 remote learners in a group, right? But that is also why, as per Swim Ontario, swimmers must be spaced out 2 meters at all times within their lanes. Can the dryland be on Zoom so the kids can do it at home? Not at this time, because we are starting with outdoor dryland while it's nice out. And then as it gets chillier, we will obviously reevaluate and change that. So for now, there is no Zoom option for the dryland for these groups. A question about volunteer hours and checks. Again, we will answer all of the volunteer information in a separate session. Today, we just want to kind of concentrate on the procedures and protocols to get into the pool. And we will have another parent meeting that kind of covers those different volunteer hours, fundraising opportunities, committees, officials development, all those kind of things at a later date. I have answered all of the questions currently in my chat box. Is there any, give everyone a minute or 2 to put anything else in there. So the big thing is we will always meet outside the pool. You always look for the coaches in purple, and we will direct you where to go if you are late and we've already gone into the pool or out into the field. So out in the field, just find us out there. If we've already gone onto the pool deck, then your child can, assess using the questions on the poster and walk through the hallway, through the change room, and head out on deck. And again, the coaches in purple there will tell them where to go. Pretty much at all times, I'll be around for the first few weeks also, even if I'm not your kid's coach. So look for us. Give everyone another minute or 2 to put in a question, but otherwise we will wrap it up. If you do have any questions at any time, please just email the coaches, right? So you can email Richard, Cheryl, or myself. Again, head coach at Milton Marlins, Richard at miltonmarlins.ca, or Cheryl at miltonmarlins.ca. And if we don't know the answer, we will pass you on to someone who does. Those questions about volunteer hours and checks and those kind of things, we will be passing on to someone else, right? So if you have questions about your account and checks, email admin at miltonmarlins.ca. and volunteer hours we will pass on to our board. So, but if anything comes up over the weekend, please let us know. I'll send out this video of this meeting. I'll send out the slideshow so that you can review everything we went over. I'll send all that out today. Then tomorrow we'll send out all of your swimmers' lane assignments. And then juniors, you can look for your first workout. I guess would be emailed out to you on Monday. Dryland workouts won't be emailed out ahead of time, obviously, because they'll just be led in person. All right, it doesn't look like I have any more questions. So I think that is it for today. Again, if anything comes up, please just shoot us an email. But otherwise, thank you very much, everyone, for taking some time this morning. And we're looking forward to seeing you back at the pool this week from a distance, parents. Remember, in your cars, waving to your kids, trying to minimize the amount of congregating that we have outside those main doors at all times. All right, thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.